Hi, everybody. This is Laura from Healing with Spirit, and I want to make sure you all can hear me all right. I'm not using the microphone. Actually, I need to plug in the microphone because, yeah, why not? Maybe you guys can hear me a little better. So give me just a moment as I do that. But we're going to go over today the energies of July. It is what I like to call a book show. Hopefully you can hear me better now. Um, test, test, test. I can see that going. Um, test, test, test. All right, I think it's there. For those who are on, if you can chime in, that would be great. Because I would love to hear from you. And so, not just what we're going to do is an energy update, but I really want to know where you're at. That would be very helpful if you're on live, and you can chime in the comments where you are from and what brings you here and what you're seeking to get out. And at the end, I am going to pull some cards, some tarot cards for folks, if depending on how many folks we do have live tonight. I didn't announce we were going to do this, so we'll see who shows up. But the card I pulled for the group is actually the Red Phoenix 4, which is similar to the Four of Cups in Tarot. And it's funny because I was just interviewed today by a TV station about confronting injustice, and I like to confront it from the spiritual world and how it's all connected. But anyway, we were saying, like, this energy right now is action oriented, but yet we have Mercury retrograde that is holding us back and slowing things down. And so there's like this push pull or delays in time or gaps in time, all these things. And this weekend, if you didn't see my video, this weekend with the storms in Boston and New York and DC, if that wasn't the nature spirits and Mother Earth giving us a show of what to do and actions and commanding us and letting us know who's really in power and listening to the cries of our planet, then we're missing the boat. So this card is really amplifying the need that life is urging us to participate. So there's a lot of things that July politically is, at least in Massachusetts, is the cutoff for those who are running to get on the ballot. And, I'm on a camp for Andrea James for Independent for Governor. And we need about 15,000 signatures just to get her on the ballot. And everybody is a volunteer. Nobody is a paid PAC employee. Going and collecting signatures in their PAC funds. So that creates obstacles. And we have until the end of July to give Massachusetts a choice that isn't branded by either party. And it's also the end of the legislative session here in Massachusetts. So like if there's bills that are pending, like if they don't get passed, they don't get passed. They get either kind of shoved under the rug or sent to study. And so this card is a reminder that I think the one thing we all have in common here in the United States, and tell me if I'm wrong, the one thing we have in common is that we all want change. But we cannot have change if we are keyboard warriors on our sofa, getting angry at posts that we're reading, and then getting exhausted because we don't have any energy to take action. And that is strategic. That is intentional. That's why go look up Cambridge Analytica. This is what Cambridge Analytica did and how they leverage social media to sway public opinions, create division so they can destabilize the United States of America for billionaire greed. And they're succeeding. But this is saying we have a window. We have a window to take action. And But what that means is you have to participate. Life doesn't change by you sitting there and doing nothing. And typing on social media isn't going to create the change that you want. It's actually getting in, it's actually voting, it's actually getting in and volunteering on campaigns and grassroots missions that are supporting your communities and all of those things. That is how we create change. Because old energies are moving, and that could be paralyzing for some of us. But it reminds me of the old saying, like, are you going to lay there and bleed to death? Or are you going to cowboy it up? This is not a time to cry. And yes, do we have grief? Yes, I'm dealing with a lot of grief right now. Grief like I have never experienced in my 5 decades of work. And I also know that just does not excuse the duty I have to show up and participate if I want change for my children, for my grandchildren, and 7 to 10 generations to come. Whatever actions we do in the next 30 days is going to impact the next 7 to 10 generations. So what you choose to do and what your role is, are you going to sit there and lie like on the sofa and make excuses and all these things? Or are you going to rise up, find hope again, and ride that train for change? And let me tell you, it's not the Democratic Party either. The Democratic Party is partly the reason why we have what's going on here, because of what they did to Bernie Sanders, because of what happened with Biden, and then intentionally not having a primary. So don't put your hope in that basket either. The hope is in the actions of those that are rising to the occasion. It's the discernment muscle. That is what I wrote in my Substack for my July energies. That is also what I said when in my journal, what I wrote in December of 2025 about July energy, on what we need to do to create change through the discernment muscle, knowing what's true, what's not, and actually taking steps, action steps, meaning do something, collect signatures, donate money, whatever that is, okay? Do something. Work a food kitchen. Work with people that are incarcerated. Do something. This is not a stay by the wayside and do nothing month. This is a call to step up to what life is asking you to do. You want to end fascism and oppression? Then what are you going to do about it? Not what your neighbor's going to do. You. What are you going to do? Are you going to pass the buck off to somebody else, like what we have done as a privileged society over the last 30, 40 years of just sitting by and allowing the system to do whatever it wanted because we just don't have time. We don't want to be involved. We don't want to talk politics. This is political. The spirit world is telling us there's a reason why the storms came in DC and caused evacuations. There's a reason why both fierce lightning and a rainbow crossed over the Statue of Liberty. You think that's a coincidence? You think that's a coincidence? I want to know. I want to know if you think that's a coincidence. Because the spirit world doesn't see things as good or bad. But I think the spirit world and our great Mother Earth is fed up with humans. And either we need to take responsibility for our harms we're doing to her, and what are we going to do to stop it? Because it's not about you anymore. It's about how you're either going to be the future ancestor that your generations despise, or the future ancestor that your generations are going to be calling on? How are you going to be that future ancestor? How are you going to show up as that future ancestor? I think I wrote about that, by the way, in here, somewhere in here. I think I wrote about that in July. Let me just see here. It's day 10. Let's see here. Keeper of imprint, what remains after the moment passes? What kind of ancestor am I becoming through small acts? Can I love without possessing? Can I honor without holding? This day says, not everything is meant to come with you. Some things come to change how we walk. That is what this month is about. How are we walking differently? If you want to keep moaning about what was in the old America, let me just tell you something. This is how America always was. It's just the Band-Aid and the filters have been removed. Now we have an opportunity to rise up and create the change we wish to see in the world. But that change comes from you, me, taking personal responsibility and taking action, not letting life pass by and then complaining about why we have what we have. That's the energy of July. And since I don't see comments, I just did a Facebook Live and apparently there were comments, but somehow I was blinded from them and there was no. So I don't know if there's something going on with the satellites right now, but I'm just going to call it a night. And if you would like to learn more, please find out or book a one-on-one session or a reading. I do Zoom and in person at www.laurahealingwithspirit.com. Couple things and a couple of announcements is that starting in 2027, I'll be offering a 1-year one-on-one apprenticeship and mentorship on how to be in proper alignment and learning skills and tools that I've cultivated over almost 6 decades as a multi-generational healer and intuitive with very much a Slavic, Japanese, and Irish fusion of what I've learned over the years and how to live in balance and in proper relationship. And it's how we cultivate. So it's a 1-year apprenticeship. I'll be offering that to no more than 3 to 6 students next year. So if that calls to you, please reach out and apply. And we'll be launching the enrollment for also the 2027 pilgrimage to Ireland next year. It's a 6-month program with 7 to 10 days in a living, mystic, mythic, and ceremonial pilgrimage to Ireland. And this is really especially for the Irish diaspora who have lost, or maybe your lineage has become quite, part of the problem because of what happened. And you want to learn how to heal those parts of you and reclaim the medicine that flows in your veins and to reconnect fully and in proper relationship with your own ancestry, both healing the harm and reclaiming those that have survived and healed. And in October, I will be celebrating a 20-year anniversary. We'll be doing an open house. And we chose October for a good reason, because it's October Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It's 4 years in the space. It's 2 years since I left my abuser, or that became done, even though I left him in 2005, I wasn't free. And let's see. Oh, and it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So there you have it. Yes, and there you have it. Please check out my other videos and also my Substack for updates on the July energies and how to move forward. And I look forward to serving you in the future. Have a great night.